A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus said to them, "Children, you have no fish, have you?" They answered him, "No." He said to them, "Cast the net to the right side of the boat, and you will find some." So they cast it, and now they were not able to haul it in because there were so many fish. In our Gospel that we've just listened to, the disciples have been fishing all night, and their efforts have borne neither fruit nor fish. Some people have suggested that the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results. This means that we too, as a church, are called to overcome the powerful forces of inertia and resistance to change, and to take the risk of trying something new, or in the words of Jesus, casting the net on the other side of the boat. In the third part of the final document of the Synod, we are told about the conversion of processes. Perhaps more than any other chapter, they speak here with a language that many of us would tend to associate with business or secular organizations. And yet the formation required to convert our processes is not just at an administrative or organizational level. It is rooted in deep theological, biblical, and spiritual foundations. We're going to look at these three practices, bearing in mind that they are deeply intertwined with each other. The first is ecclesial discernment for mission. This is presented as a spiritual practice grounded in a living faith, and yet it is supported by the insights of Ignatian spirituality, but also the insights that come from the human sciences, from organizational behavior. In a sense, you might say it's an extension of the practice of pastoral listening to our group interactions when we are facing important decisions that affect the life of the whole community. We need to find a way to discern those. The practice of conversation in the Spirit, as it was practiced both at the Synodal Assembly and in our pre-Synodal gatherings, is presented as one particularly fruitful manner of proceeding. Guided by competent and faith-filled animators, group members are invited to pray and reflect individually on a particular theme or question, share their own experience and insight openly, listen attentively and deeply to each member, and then ask for the guidance of the Holy Spirit to identify places of convergence and to move to a consensus. It is a form of discernment that ensures that what affects everyone is truly discussed and agreed on by everyone. This invites us, therefore, to look at the way we make decisions in the church. And this is essential if we are to regain credibility. This means a shift from top-down models in which the bishop of a diocese or the pastor of a parish makes decisions all on his own, or just after a largely symbolic consultation process in which they may or may not follow the recommendations of the rest of the consultation. Although the church continues to centralize authority in the person of the bishop, it situates that authority in view of a larger principle that goes all the way back to the 2nd century. Nothing without the bishop, nothing without the council of elders, nothing without the consent of the people. This means that we need to revisit canonical distinctions between consultative and deliberative processes to ensure that everyone who has relevant information and experience, everyone who's affected by the decision, can participate in what the Synod calls differentiated co-responsibility. We need to find ways to implement these reforms here and now. The Synod also notes that the decision-making process does not conclude the process. It needs to be followed by practices of accountability and evaluation pursued in a spirit of transparency. Although the abuse crisis has pressed these words on the consciousness and awareness of the Church in a powerful way, these are not merely secular values, they are also gospel values. There remains a legitimate need for confidentiality, but this should never become an excuse for secrecy or cover-up. Transparency is expected of church leaders not only in matters around authority, but also in the way in which we take and implement decisions about pastoral priorities, finances, and human resources. This means that accountability is a two-way street. Those who exercise authority, including bishops and priests, are just as accountable to the communities they serve as those who are under authority are accountable to those in authority. Regular evaluation of our pastoral ministry and of our planning should not be seen as a threat or as a judgment, but a necessary way of ensuring that all who serve are learning and growing and are receiving the feedback they need to improve their skills. This requires not just a change of strategy, but a change of culture. And we may have heard the expression that culture often eats strategy for breakfast. We need ongoing conversion. What might this look like in terms of our parish and diocesan life? Participatory bodies at each level, such as the Pastoral Council or the Finance Council, the Board of the Fabrique, or the Church Wardens in Quebec, they offer a promising place for us to already begin implementing the synodal recommendations. This means making those bodies not only obligatory, but also efficient and effective. This means broadening their membership so that they become more inclusive and truly reflect the local community they are meant to represent. It also invites them to proceed in a synodal manner, to be grounded in prayer, maturity, a deep knowledge and love of the Church and her traditions, and a desire to discern not just what I want, but what the Holy Spirit is calling us as a community to at this time. Our decisions must be grounded in a discerning spirit and placed at the service of the Church's mission in the world. This is the spiritual renewal and structural reform to which the Church is called in this time.